Here we go. Yep, we are live, folks. Once again, our weekly football discussion topics sprinkled with a hint of blue cheese. I'm your host, Jono, over here in New Jersey. Across the river, as always, is our good captain. Say hi to the folks, good captain.
Hello, peoples.
Excellent. Our street correspondent is recovering after the FA Cup game between Everton and Spurs, so he's not available. Heading down south to the Carolinas. The good doctor is still out there on the front lines, working hard.
And he got the vaccine, by the way.
He did, yeah, that's right, because he said he was going to take it. Yeah, so well, he's a doctor, he's a frontline worker. So we raise our glass and we wish him the best. Heading down south, past to the great state of Florida. Past Mar-a-Lago and past the mayor of Mar-a-Lago to the mayor of the city of Florida, the whole state of Florida. Reef, say hi to the folks.
Just before Miami. Hello, everybody.
There you go. There you have it, guys. Listen, before we go any further, we remind you guys to subscribe, give us a like, hint of blue cheese. We're on YouTube. Where you can always email us at bluecheese1905@yahoo.com. We take all your comments. It helps us create context. So send yourself notifications and subscribe to us. All right. Last weekend, I've got to do last weekend's game. There's an old song for one of my favorite artists from way back in the day called Elvis Costello. And the song was called Alisson. I can now see right now Klopp singing that song. Oh, Alisson. Schiff, what happened to the 4-1 defeat of Man City to Liverpool in the hands of Man City? How say you?
I mean, here's the thing. Klopp wants to play a certain way. He doesn't want to play any other way, doesn't care about who he has. And when your back four is the way it is, you do not have communication. Fabinho and Henderson, with the fullbacks having more defensive duties because they don't have their defenders. It's just a miscommunication in the back. And Alisson made a mistake, which happened, and then he got rattled and made a second mistake. You have bad games. It's just, when you're a defender or a keeper, those bad games are amplified, right? Like if you're a striker and you have a bad game, you didn't score, you didn't touch the ball, there's no big deal. When you're a keeper and you have a bad game, that's what it looks like.
Reef, as the Monsu Strikers legendary goalkeeper, who has many a times put his body on the line for many games that we've played, how say you to this, that as Alisson had a bad day in the office, or he has slowly becoming complacent? Which one is it? How say you, Reef?
I absolutely cannot blame for what Shiv said about that. I don't see it like that. I absolutely think Gotti had a very bad day. And as Shiv said about Ford, I believe even in midfield, if he's have a bad day, it's not a big deal. But a defender or a keeper, when they have a bad day, sometimes it happens as their own goal. Sometimes it happens as a mistake. As a last man before the goal, you made him a mistake, and he's make two of them, one after another. So it's so hard to catch yourself up, and I think that's what is make them to lose more than everything. Because I think when it was 2-1, they still been very comfortable because Salah scored the PK. They've been 2-1, still have a game. Everything open, everything can change and go to both directions. And then Alisson makes two mistakes, and both of them cost 2 goals. That's the 4-1. So the answer for what you're saying, I don't see Alisson is like getting off the horse or is not good enough or anything like that. I just think he has a bad day in the office.
Reef, let me throw this at you and say this. It was 1-1. Then Alisson made 2 major mistakes. How say you to then finally getting bitch slapped by Phil Foden and the 4th goal to lose it? Throw it to you there.
That was a beautiful goal. That was a beautiful cross, beautiful goal. I mean, I think it's like, you know what? as experience for me as a keeper, it's a domino effect. When you start to make a mistake, it scores for another mistake. It scores for another mistake. You start not watching your lineup. You going to fall. Everything is like because you're mentally right now not in the game. You're so upset on yourself. It's very hard to regroup quickly. It's a game. It's happening most of it in the second half. It's like you in the game and you have to get yourself together. Some players can do it very well. Some goalkeeper. For Alisson, it did not work very well. They lost the game. A lot of it fall on him. I cannot blame the entire team. One of the goals that I kind of disappointed and I want to say something about it is I forgot his name, the young guy that played for Liverpool. He was last year was #1 player of Liverpool.
Oh, Van Dijk. Van Dijk?
No Van Dijk.
Trent Alexander?
Alexander-Arnold. Alexander-Arnold in one of the goals did not even try. It's like,
two of the
I'm
goals.
like, what is doing on? I'm like, what are you doing on the pitch? This is so disappointed. Why everybody can fight? And Alexander-Arnold, oh, just go and score. I don't care. It's not bothering me. It's kind of disappointed. I'm like, why is the fight? It was not there. I don't think he's going to play this week.
Schiff, let me throw it to you then. As you can see, Alexander-Arnold was at fault for the first penalty, which Fabinho, being a midfielder, did a midfielder foul right inside the box. Also, I concur with Reef. He was also in fault for the actual first goal, finally, when City actually did score. So for actually two mistakes, one led to the goal, one led to the penalty that they missed. All right, Schiff, let me throw this at you then. Where does Liverpool go from here?
I've been saying for the last month, right, that I think Liverpool are not going to make the top four.
Top four?
I don't
keep on saying that, and they're in the top four already.
Yes, but I think they're going to fall off the top four. I think this is like the Klopp's last season in Dortmund. They have an aging front line. They can't seem to be able to find goals. They're defensively, it's a problem. And notice now, other teams are going to start high press, right? The high press against Liverpool didn't really work because they could get it out quickly. The defenders could transition to the midfield. Now, that was facilitated a lot by Henderson and having Van Dijk and Matip, who could play the ball really well. Fabinho, not as good. Henderson, defensive positioning is not as good. And the fullbacks, I don't know what's happened to them this year. They got so used to scoring and just being up and having a shield behind them that they just not playing defense well. So if you see teams that are going to start pressing Liverpool more, the defense is going to start coughing up the balls. And if the forwards don't get their stuff together and start scoring a little bit more, I don't think they make top four.
Just before I come to you, Reef, I'm going to throw one more thing at Schiff. It's controversial. Do you believe now Thiago was brought there because of the fact that, okay, Thiago was brought there, all right, because of they had played X amount of games over the last 3 years, and his concept was to keep more ball retention. However, I say this to you, Schiff, do you believe by putting Thiago in the midfield, it has actually ended up slowing and being a detriment to Liverpool than a help?
I absolutely believe that. I think Thiago's a great player. I still get really irritated at the commentators who splooge all over him, but he slows their transition down, right? Like he receives the ball, he tries to retain it, tries to see what's out there and see what's going on, but he doesn't make the long incisive pass. So Van Dijk and Jordan Henderson last year, right, would make that long diagonal ball to either one of the fullbacks or Salah running in behind the defense. That's dead, right? With Henderson playing defense, there's no one to make that pass. Van Dijk would be the other person who would make that pass. There's no one making the decisive pass. Therefore, in transition, they are just slow and ponderous now, especially with Thiago in there. And that goes back to my old point, why I think teams are going to press them so much more, that because they're still going to try to play it out, but with a ponderous midfield, they're going to be able to fall back in defense. So pressing them is not going to be the detriment it was in the years in the past.
All right. Then okay. Then Reef, before to finish this particular topic, do you, Reef, believe that Liverpool will make top 4 this season?
Absolutely, I do believe they make top 4, but I'm looking on the table. The table is, you know, I mean, someone have to fall from the table. I do believe Liverpool going to make top 4. I do believe Manchester City going to make top 4. And right now it's Manchester United and Leicester there. Someone have to fall out from the top 4. Someone have to go out. I don't think it's going to be Liverpool. I believe Van Dijk going to come back. If that's what you're thinking about, I believe that he's at a better in the office. And I believe they will finish in the top 4, and they're going to play in Champions League next year. And I'm thinking exactly the opposite from Shivi. And as a matter of fact, this week is going to be another good game and good test for Liverpool, because Liverpool playing Leicester.
We're going to come to that at the end of the podcast. All right.
It's going to be another good test for them, if they can still can come back strong or not.
This weekend is a beautiful one, but we're coming to that before that. All right. So a team that is in the top 4 is Manchester United. How say you then? Shift to Manchester United, Everton, 3-3.
I mean, it was a really fun game.
It was.
But it also shows why Manchester United are nowhere close to winning the title. And, I can see them getting beaten. They're really good going forward. Martial, not so much. I don't know what's happened to Rashford. Rashford gets so many one-on-one opportunities that he just puts straight into the keeper.
Could it be that he's overthinking it at this moment? Even though he has Alisson, Cavani there, he has now, before last year, he was playing natural with Greenwood. At the end of last season, they had natural Greenwood, Martial, Rashford, and they had Bruno there. But now it seems as though a lot of them are thinking it too much, that it's not natural.
Yep. And, Bruno Fernandes has had a little bit of a drop-off in the last few weeks. So if that sustains where he can't keep on in his high standards, then maybe they would also be in trouble. City's going to run away with the league.
Okay. But so in saying that, Reef, let me throw this to you. We've heard what me and Schiff has just said. How say you to Manchester United being the one to drop out of the top 4 after 3-3 and what they're playing and how they're playing? Say you.
They have a good game and a bad game. They have a good run and a bad run. I mean, I don't know any player that should expect from any player to be and perform game in, game out for 38 games. Never going to happen, no matter who you are. If you're Maradona, if you're Pelé, if you are, I don't know what, Ibrahimovic, that John likes so much. You cannot perform for 38 matches every game.
Say bad things about Zlatan.
It's not happening. You're going to fall off the horse. You're going to have a weakness. You're going to play for 70 minutes instead of 90 minutes. You're not going to perform and score or assist. It's happening. It's a game. It's a body, it's a fatigue, it's a mental, it's everything that happened in your day. I don't know, something happened with your wife, something happened with your girlfriend, you have a fight, you're being emotional to the game. Whatever happening, it's very hard to perform. You're not a robot, you're a human. So that's what I think about Bruno. And about Manchester United, I don't know if they can maintain and hold it as good as they've been until now. They're going to have a fall down. And the question is, if they're having a fall down, who's the one to push to the top and going to take their place? Or who's going to, I see Liverpool going to push higher, and if Leicester and Man U going to go down, who is going to take the place? That's kind of interesting to see how things are going to change. And I believe this thing's going to change.
Then Schiff, I'm coming to you, Schiff, then coming to you. In saying that, then, if the saying goes like this, if we're going to listen to what Reef said, the saying goes like this: how Bruno Fernandes goes is how Manchester United go. So, Shift, I say to you, if Bruno falls, does United fall? How say you?
I think so. I get Gary's point that people can't perform week in, week out, but that's why you have a team where you're more than one player, where others have to step up. And when Bruno has a bad game, United seem to have a bad game.
Yep.
So, where as goes Bruno, so goes United.
Mm. All right.
It's kind of interesting because before Bruno come to Man United, all the focus going on Pogba.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody think Pogba going to lead the team. And when Bruno come in and Bruno start to lead it, now all the focus on Bruno. And Bruno is basically the leader. He's not the captain of the game, but he is the one is pushing and leading the team forward into the fight.
Mm-hmm.
And when he's losing the power, nobody else kind of pick it up and take it and carry it on. So I do believe and agree with Chief. If Bruno going to fall down or injured or whatever it is coming along the way, we will see Man United falling apart.
I mean,
or other teams start like just cutting off Bruno from the play.
well,
You can do that.
it appears that every time he gets onto the field, as soon as you touch him, he's already complaining to the referee. He's getting the treatment, and if he's not getting the treatment, he's getting the mental treatment already.
Yeah.
All right. So the people who they played against was Everton. Everton remained free. Everton, you can't get rid of them. It's got the old Italian meat in your teeth sort of scenario.
Except when they play Newcastle, apparently.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's another story. How say you to Everton, Reef? How say you to Everton drawing, remaining in there, beating Spurs 4-2, Everton.
I mean, it was 5-4.
They're doing very well. I mean, like, honestly, this manager working with them very, very well. He is getting for them what they have. And it's kind of like, it's almost kind of like, for me, like what Man United doing for most teams, kind of slapping them in the last minute.
Yeah.
And it's kind of up and the opposite. Like, oh, remember you're doing it for others? I want to see how you feel when someone else doing it for you.
They didn't like it.
Exactly. In FA Cup, it's just happened. Again, they win it in past 90.
Yeah.
It's like, for me, it's so hard to watch the end of the game because I know something will happen and I will go nuts. So I'm like, you know what? It's a 0-0. I'm going to leave the TV. I'm not going to watch the extra time. I cannot watch that. It's driving me nuts. That's all the time. And it's kind of nice to see when Everton doing it for him. And how is that feel for you right now? So it's kind of like payback.
It is. How say you then, Chief, to Uncle Carlos? He's there. They're in the FA Cup. I mean, who knows who they're going to play against? I mean, if you look at them right now in the FA Cup, nobody wants to play them. You know? And in the league, later on, they got Fulham, but they've also got, by the time we get on the air next week, they would have played Man City themselves. They could actually beat Man City by the time we get on next Wednesday and be City's first defeat in 14 or 15 games.
So you're just assuming City's going to roll over Spurs?
Yeah. You know what my prediction is for the week, for the later on this podcast, right?
So I will say this. I think today's injury to DCL, we don't know what it is. But if it's a hammy and he's out for a couple of weeks, I don't know where the goals come from, and they're very leaky in the back, and they seem to play to the level of their opponent.
Yes, they do.
Because they're very good against good teams, but they're horrible against teams in the bottom.
They are.
Right? Like, they're just playing to their competition.
They are.
Right? I don't know about them. When teams defend against them, they can't break them down.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Unless it's a big header from Mina or DCL. Yeah. And if DCL is injured,
they're out of ammunition. And the thing is that it's kind of strange. It's like now the Brazilians are beginning to score as they did today, but all season those guys have done Richarlison and
but
they've done
even when Richarlison does good, he needs a strong striker to play off.
Often, yes.
Right? And Sank Tosun or whatever his name is, it's not that guy.
It's not. They've got problems. You're right.
They've got problems. If DCL is out, they've got problems.
if Dominic Calvert-Lewis is,
I actually think they're more likely to get points off City than Fulham at this point. 'Cause I actually think Fulham.
they'll
I
play
think
to
Fulham will
yeah.
draw that game.
Fulham will draw because they play down to Fulham. You're absolutely
Yeah,
right.
and Fulham is actually a really decent team. Like defensively, Scotty Parker's done a good job. They just can't score, but I think that game will be interesting for them. It'll be a good test, especially
Gentlemen,
after the last two games.
Last game, yeah. Gentlemen, we can laugh at Jose Mourinho and all of the stuff that's going on, but let me throw this at you, the statistic that I've been looking at. We know we've all played defensive positions, defenders, etc. We know defense wins games. Do you all concur, gentlemen?
Yep.
Defense also wins championships. Do you all concur?
Yes.
So let me throw you the strongest defense by least amount of goals. The top four is this. This is going to surprise you. Man City, which is no surprise, by a whole 8 points. Next, believe it or not, is Spurs. Next after Spurs is Arsenal. And then the next two are Chelsea and Aston Villa, which I'm sure, but it's actually Spurs and Arsenal, believe it or not, have held their own.
Well, that was because he had a run before that Liverpool game where he was just not leaking any goals.
No,
he got that defense into shape.
Yes, he did.
But then the defenders started making mistakes. Like today, Spurs were the better team.
Yeah.
By leaps and bounds, they were the better team, but they had a brain fart for 5 minutes from the 40th to 45th minute where they're lacking 3 goals.
Yes,
all 3 mistakes.
2-0 up at one stage, right?
No, they were 1-0 up.
So 1-0 up, and then
then 3-1 down, then 3-2, 3-3. But like that brain fart for 5 minutes, Jose must be killing it, those defenders, because he tries everybody. He puts in Dyer there. Dyer, I don't know what he did against Chelsea, right? Like trying to kick someone when you're down.
Yeah, when they're down, when he's down on the ground from behind, doing karate.
Yeah, and then he puts in Davinson Sanchez, and Davinson Sanchez scores own goals or doesn't pull
Sanchez
up.
does it all the time, though.
Yeah.
Davinson Sanchez.
Then he puts in Rodon, and Rodon is too green.
Yeah, he is.
He just Jose's teams, for them to work, needs to have a center back pairing that he can trust, and he just does not have that. And that's Spurs' weakness.
At the beginning, he had Toby and he had Dyer right at the very beginning strong, but it all went, as soon as Toby got injured, I think it was the first Tottenham game. I mean, the first Liverpool game.
Yeah.
That's when he got, and then from then it's been downhill.
And from then it's been downhill because if he has a good centre-back pairing, he can make any team good, but like he doesn't. And although I'll say this, I don't think he's too bothered that he's lost. Their schedule coming up with Europa League, with the final, would have been bonkers bad. Yes. And now he's out of one competition. It was a decent game. He can still get his Carling Cup. He can still go for the Europa Cup, and he can play his Premier League. I think FA Cup would have been too much.
Let me throw this at you, Reef. Then, how say you to Spurs affording Jose Mourinho? Speak.
Okay, I answer you for that in one word: no. With this kind of results, no. They're not going to keep a person. And Shiv, if you not see Jose disappointed from that game, you are living in a dream. Jose is all about trophy, and this is a trophy that he can reach, and not work so hard for it. By meaning, not playing so many games to all the season for 38 matches to win the trophy. It's a short way to trophy. And to lose in that game 5-4, come on. You cannot tell me he's like pulling out his hair.
I know he's pulling out
gray hair.
It just
that's one thing.
The things
and
that
second thing.
Okay.
Huh?
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Reef. Go ahead.
Second thing, it don't bring in the results. I mean, like, you bring in a manager in his class, in his name, in his anything, coming from Real Madrid to Chelsea and back again to Chelsea, being in Italy and being in so many big clubs and coming to there, they want results, they want trophy. And to lose that game and falling in the Premier League, why I'm in a manager, give him another year? Why I'm signing him for another one? I'm going to find someone else.
The
I mean,
whole
like,
point.
look what happened in Chelsea. They tore our manager, Lampard, because he didn't get results. So
Yeah,
why do you think it's not happening in Everton?
but Tottenham, first of all, because Tottenham is not Chelsea, they will give him a few years. He will say, "I need a couple of
They
centre
can't
backs." Give me-
afford not to give him 2 years because to
Yes,
buy out his contract is too expensive. But
yeah.
go on.
Tottenham are not one of the teams that sacks managers unless it went really bad with Poch for like a year. Even though he made the Champions League final, the team had been playing horrendously for like a year. And right now, Spurs have been playing badly for a month. Now, if it all keeps on going like this would be a lost season. They'll give him one more year because that's who Tottenham are. They don't have, as long as he gets them a trophy, and I think he's going to get them the Carling Cup. So,
Why do you think so?
See, because it's the only
because
one
it's
he's actually in the
Jose.
final. It's the only one who is the final, and he's
Yep.
hoping
And why do you not think he's going to fall in the final? Why is the
because
success that
we
we
are
see all of a
hoping that
sudden?
he's hoping that well,
Because
he wins trophies. I'll give him one thing. He's
he
going
wins
to win
trophies.
them a trophy, even if it's the League Cup. He's going
Yeah.
to find a way to win them a trophy.
He all
Yeah.
and if you look at the games around that time, and Man City are still going to be in the
Champions League
Champions League,
and
and
Premier
Tottenham
League.
will probably still be in the Europa by then, but they're not going to be playing big games, right? Like if around the final, Man City is probably going to be playing like Barcelona or PSG on either side of that game, while Tottenham's going to be playing like Arsenal either side of that game. So, it's all about who can have time for preparation. And Jose is going to prepare for that game for months.
Gentlemen, let me flip over the side on the side of the worst defense. Here we go. You ready for the worst defense? Allowed for goals allowed. West Brom, surprise, surprise. Palace, Leeds, and Newcastle are those are the four teams, and then before Southampton is next. But the truth be told, man, how say you to Big Sam?
1 second, Sheffield United is not there.
No. Sheffield United loses like 1-0.
Yeah, 1-0. Yep. They lose, but it's so close. 1-0 to maybe at the most 2-0. They don't lose. They don't get whipped, believe it or not, like 3-0 and that at all. They're actually, believe it or not, tight. And that's why they're getting frustrated is that, look, we just lost 1-0. All we needed was just a bit of luck. We would have got a draw. We got a point here. We lost 2-1. They just can't do it. How say you then to Big Sam being able to pull this one out this time round?
I think he's going to finish last.
Yeah. It's rough, isn't it?
It's past him.
Yeah.
He's done miracles in the past, but
yeah.
this was a task too hard.
It really was sad. It really is.
It's kind of like I don't, for one reason, I don't know why it's other than picked up Sam Allardyce to come to manage a team that's been in the bottom and all the time expect for him to make the miracle and bring him to the top or take them out to the bottom or take them out from relegation. It's kind of like I'm so don't give a fuck. I'm not so don't give a damn about nothing. What happened. I'm just here. I have a job. I'm getting money. Who cares?
He's getting pie.
I don't see for him the emotion, the wanting, they want to push, they want to win. It's not exist anymore.
It's not there. It's just not there in the game upon game. You're almost like guaranteed to say a loss, whoever they play against. It's just wild. And the games where they should have, like Fulham and Sheffield United, where they've the so-called 6-pointers, they didn't do it.
Yeah.
So
although I'm hoping they do something against Man United this weekend.
Yeah, well, we can all hope for that. Why? Because of who we are, Chelsea, sitting in 5th. Now, tomorrow, gentlemen, I say this to you, that we should not take Barnsley lightly. How say you, Reef, to Chelsea versus Barnsley tomorrow?
I don't think you have to take anything from the bottom, even if it's a Sheffield United that we play with them. You cannot take anything lightly because they're sitting in the bottom. We see what happened when Man United being in the top and they play against Sheffield. I mean, that's the best picture. Top playing against bottom being in top. I mean, like, obviously that's what happened. I mean, you cannot take any team and don't put all the focus and to try to win the game, no matter what is the cost. And they can surprise, and they can fight, and they can win because this is like again, it's a short tournament. So for them to have the chance to win that and to go to the next round, and who know who you play in the next round. Maybe you play against some weaker team that you can win and go for another round.
Right.
So of course you cannot take it. You cannot take it any. You have to put and win that game. And it's a matter of fact. This game tomorrow and a game in a weekend is another team that not the top 10.
Mhm.
Newcastle. So you have to be focused on all of that.
Shift, how say you? I followed Ishmael, the coach of Barnsley's career, for a long time when he came over to Britain. A French guy, top manager, growing youth manager. He has had the German schooling in coaching over his time, apart from just playing there, etc. How say you to how serious this banana skin could be for Tuchel and Chelsea for us tomorrow?
Honestly, I don't know that much about Barnsley, but at the end of the day, they're still in the lower leagues. We have so much quality on the bench. Pulisic hasn't gotten a game in. Abrahams hasn't gotten enough time. I think this, even though it could be a banana skin, I think we need to play very expensive Zakim. Oh, sorry. Hakim Ziyech. We need to play him. We need to play Pulisic. We need to put Kante in there. Again, we have so much depth that we shouldn't take this lightly. And the players, but we should play the players that have not been getting minutes, and then they can put a case forward. Hopefully they all step up to the occasion and they put their case forward to play in the Premier League again and big games.
Shift, give me a score for tomorrow.
4-1.
Reef?
I say 3-0.
Yeah, that's the
You
score
think
I had.
Pep's not going to let a goal in?
We can't afford to.
I don't think we're going. You're talking about the goal in, and we're talking about Chelsea. I have to tell you this weekend. I'm going nuts. I'm going nuts with Rudiger.
Rudiger.
What a mistake! I mean, come on, it's a clean sheet game. We're playing a team that we can beat them very comfortably, and this mistake, and I know it's a mistake. I know he's not paying attention for a second or whatever flying in his mind or whatever happened there. That was such a weird goal.
And you know what makes it worse is that he then tried to raise his hand to say, as I told the guy, offside. Rudiger is always raising his hands and pointing fingers, but he never points the fingers. He doesn't realize that when you point the fingers, there's 3 more pointing back at you. Rudiger. He's constant.
Yeah, and you know what the most hurts of all? It's hurting my fantasy.
Yeah, he did. He messed us all up. Honestly, we've all got Chelsea defenders, right? Shiffy, yeah. We really needed that, and it looked like a good possible clean sheet because Sheffield United, like I said, hardly can score. They actually got a goal because of Rudiger.
I want to see, is Zuma injured or is he just?
He's coming back. He's coming back, but the thing is, in order to play the free, as Thiago Silva is not there to distribute the ball, one thing that the Danish princess is very good at is distributing the ball. So he's in there. Rudiger is in there because he can play the German, he can play the free. He's played it from Conti, Sarri. He's adept at it. But he does, you see, there was many times where he actually put Kappa in a very tough position, Rudiger, back in the day when Kappa let Manny score. That was Rudiger. That was Rudiger's fault, man. All right, enough about that. I'm going for 3-0 as well tomorrow. Gentlemen, tomorrow is...
I have a question. When do we play Atletico? Is it next Wednesday?
The following, it's coming up. So after this, I think we got Newcastle, then Atletico. Atletico, yeah.
So before the next podcast,
16th, before the next podcast, we play Atletico, yeah.
Oh God, I'm scared.
No, you shouldn't be.
They're top of the league. Suarez is scoring. He's going to bite somebody's head off.
He can bite Rudiger. I think he
Yeah.
likes the dark meat. Ask Patrick Vieira. Patrick Evra. Listen, tomorrow Bayern Munich plays Tigres in the World Cup, in the Club World Cup. The big game in Serie A games this weekend is Napoli and Juventus, Inter and Lazio. There are no major big green games in La Liga. There are no major big games in Ligue 1. This weekend in the Premier League, though, there are massive games. Gentlemen, let's look at the first one. Leicester versus Liverpool. Shift, give us a score, please.
1-1.
Okay. How about staying on the fence?
I mean,
Go ahead. Explain.
So, like I said, I don't think Liverpool are going to score more than one goal. And Vardy, and I don't think they will not concede because they're not defensively good enough. But also, Leicester has leaky defense. They can shut it up, but not enough to stop Liverpool because they're desperate. So it'll be 1-1, I think.
Reef, I hope you're writing this down. Reef, give me a score. Leicester versus Liverpool.
Okay, Leicester playing Liverpool going to Leicester early morning, 7:30 in the morning. I will say Liverpool winning it 2-1. Liverpool will redeem themselves from last week and win the game in Leicester. If Vardy playing or not, that's what I think. 2-1.
I say Vardy is playing, and Leicester are going to beat Liverpool 2-1.
Ooh.
Yeah. Leicester are going to put on big boy pants. They're going to put on their big boy pants, and they're going to play against the schoolyard bully. And Brendan Rodgers is finally, they're going to do it for the Rog. Brendan Rodgers is going to get it over Liverpool. He knows they're vulnerable. He knows that Fofana, if Wilfred played this, Wilfred and also Vardy played against Brighton, so they're good. They should be good to go this weekend. Lucky for Liverpool, they got to rest. That's the one advantage Liverpool got. All of Liverpool got to rest because they never played the FA Cup, which is huge for them, for recovery-wise. But I believe that they're going to put on their big boy pants, and Leicester are going to beat Liverpool 2-1. So
you say 2-1 again. I'm just reminding it.
Yes.
You said 2-1 Leicester. I said 2-1 Liverpool, and Shiv say 1-1.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, but if you're looking at the game of last week, I was the closer one than all three of us.
Yeah, get off the horse. All right. Next thing, Man City. We've been blessed. The thing we're blessed like Serie A with 2 good games. Man City v Tottenham. How say you? Reef.
I said 3-1. 3-1 Manchester City.
Wow. Shift.
I know where you're going, and just to spice it up a little, I'll say 2-1 Tottenham.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What you say? Again?
2-1 Tottenham. Man City's reign of terror has to end at some point, and Tottenham are desperate. They have to win this game. And based on how these two teams played last time, I think Tottenham can shut up shop and just get them on the counter. I think City are vulnerable on the counter.
I'm going to go 3-2 to City. And the reason why I'm going 3-2 to City is that Tottenham don't have enough firepower. Despite they having Kane and they can't do it. They're missing Lo Celso coming in to spell Ndombele in like he used to in the 60th minute to get that extra impetus to take it over the thing.
I think this week he'll play much more defensive. I think he'll have a Højbjerg, Sissoko, double pivot.
Yeah, he'll have all of that lot. But you know what? City have Gundala. So he's gonna just step in and all that lot. They will win. They will score. They will conceive goals this time round without a doubt because of Kane and Song. Last time they got punked. They got punked by Jose, and earlier on the season when they were going to say thing, they're not going to get punked by Jose this time. They're going to win this 3-2. Reef, what do you have written down for everybody? Give us our results so the people can.
Okay, I'm just going to tell you that. I said 3-1 for City. Shiv say
2-1 Tottenham, right?
I'm
2-1.
talking about, yeah.
Chief said 2-1 Tottenham. Tottenham 2, City 1, right?
Yep.
Chief say 2-1 for Spurs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you say 3-2 for City.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Everything is writing down.
That's what we have, folks. Guys, you know that where you can send us. You can see us on YouTube. I'll be there live when we go live tomorrow to chat to our subscribers who've subscribed to it. You can chat to me live on YouTube. You can give your predictions of what you believe the game is going to be. Again, we're on a Hint of Blue Cheese. Like, notify us, leave us your comments, and we'll always communicate with you guys. From the guys, listen, let's raise a toast to those who can't be with us today, etc. We hope for the best in our country and on the globe. Next week when we meet, Man City are going to play Everton. We are going to be in our Champions League game against Atletico, and also Liverpool are going to be playing RB Leipzig. The truth is, we're not playing in Madrid. It's a neutral site because of this new strain of COVID and the travel restrictions. The Liverpool game is being played in Hungary, Budapest. Yep, it's been played in Hungary. So these games, where they were meant to play, are not being played anymore. Who knows what the Euros this year will come down to, and who knows what will lead to the World Cup next year. It's crazy out there. We're all trying to be safe. We are grateful for football to keep us all entertained, etc. So we raise a glass to them. From the good state in Florida, Reef, say goodbye to the folks.
Goodbye, everybody. Stay safe.
Excellent. Moving up to the good captain. Captain, talk to the people.
Sayonara.
Excellent. Folks, we'll see you all next week. Take care of yourself. Be well. Wash your hands, as the good doctor will say, and stay safe out there for us. Take care now.